my first question for you is I'm curious about who was your greatest teacher growing up?
I had a lot of them. My parents were great. Growing up, they instilled in me the importance of imagination, of curiosity, and understanding that, okay, if you want to accomplish something, I'm not just going to sit here and say, yes, you can do whatever you want. Yes, you can, but you have to also put in the work to get there, right? So they taught me that at a really early age, man. And when you grow up as a kid thinking that the world is your oyster and all things are possible if you put in the work to do it, you grow up having that fundamental belief.
Yeah.
Playing league. And here I come playing, and I don't score 1 point the entire summer.
Really?
Not one.
How old were you?
11, 10, 11.
And you're playing against other 10, 11-year-olds?
Uh-huh.
And you didn't score once?
Not one.
Were you in the game?
I was in the game.
How did you not score?
Because I was terrible.
Really?
As hell. And I scored not a free throw, nothing, not a lucky shot, not a breakaway layup, 0 points. And I remember crying about it and being upset about it. And my father just gave me a hug and said, listen, whether you score 0 or score 60, I'm going to love you no matter what.
Wow.
Now that is the most important thing that you can say to a child. Because from there I was like, okay, that gives me all the confidence in the world to fail. I have the security there. But from there I just went to work. And I stayed with it, and I kept practicing.
Is that when you think the mentality of hard work started to come in for you at that age, when you failed so miserably, I guess, that summer?
I think that's when the idea of understanding a long-term view became important. Because I wasn't going to catch these kids in a week. I wasn't going to catch them in a year, right? So that's when I sat down and said, okay, this is going to take some thought, all right? What do I want to work on first? All right, shooting. All right, let's knock this out. Let's focus on this. Half a year, 6 months, do nothing but shoot. All right, after that, all right, creating your own shot. And then you focus. So I started creating a menu of things. When I came back the next summer, I was a little bit better, right? And
A menu being like, I've got my jump shot from 15, I've got my
I got my jump
fadeaway,
shot from
I've got
15, I got my three-point shot, like just open shots, not miss open shots, right? And be able to shoot it with speed, because those kids are so much more athletic.
Yeah.
And then the next time I came back, I was a little better. I tell this to my daughter and my daughter's team as well that I coach. It's a simple thing of math. If you want to be a great player, if you play every single day, 2-3 hours, every single day, over the course of a year, how much better are you getting? Most kids will play maybe, an hour and a half, 2 days a week.
Right.
Do the math on that.
It's not going
to get it done. It's not going to get it done, right? So if you're obsessively training 2-3 hours every single day over a year, over 2 years,
you're accelerating.
You make quantum leaps, man.
Just doing a sports team.
I think you have to listen, and you have to pay attention to what your colleagues or teammates are saying, and what are certain things that drive them, certain things that motivate them, that trigger them. One of my favorite ones, Powell hates it every time I tell this story. He hates it. But we lost to the Celtics in 08, and it was a physical series. I mean, they beat the crap out of us.
Yeah.
And so we go into the Olympic year that year. We wound up playing Spain for the gold medal match, and we beat them. And so now we come back to start training camp, and Powell shows up the first day of training camp. I had my gold medal hanging in his locker.
Oh, no.
And like the one thing that he truly, truly loves is his country.
Of course.
Like, that is like everything to him. So it just drove him crazy. I said, Powell, listen. He said, you're an asshole. I said, listen, Powell. You lost to the Celtics. You lost to us in the gold medal match. Let's not make this 3 in a row this year.
Wow.
Okay?
That is
Let's
brilliant.
win this thing. And that was it for him.
And he probably stepped up at a whole nother level.
Well, Powell was a phenomenon to begin with. And then for him was just stepping up to a level of physicality that we needed him to get to, which he did. And we went on to win back-to-back championships.
My man.
Yeah.
How important is understanding human psychology and human behavior to work with a team as opposed to just relying on your gifts and talents?
It's probably the most important thing. When you're in this culture in our society, you can do some phenomenal things individually, but they'll never reach their full potential unless you do them collectively. And you have to figure out how to do that. And Phil Jackson was great at that. And Phil, he wouldn't just coach the team or coach the game, but he'd read everything about every single player.
Really?
You learn about your history, how you grew up, how you were raised, where were you raised. You know, he'll read every interview, and he'll learn about you, and gives him a better understanding of what's motivating you, or what your insecurities are, right? And then it just helps him communicate with you better, or even push a button here if he needs to.
When did you learn that it was important to understand who your teammates are, what their likes or dislikes are? Was that in high school for you or more?
No, it was, I learned it from Phil. There was a stretch in '03 where Shaq was out with an injury. And Phil called me up to his office and said, okay, we need you to really turn on the afterburners and start scoring the ball if we have to win. So I did, and I wound up scoring, I think it was 9 straight games of 40-plus points.
9 straight?
9 straight games. And then Shaq comes back, second to last game of that. And then Phil calls me up to his office and says, Kobe, okay, I need you to dial it back. I'm like, why? Like, we're winning. I don't understand. It's because our goal is to win a championship. And we can get through the Western Conference with you playing this way. But in the East, you know, we can dominate them inside with Shaq in the post. But if you continue to do this, we'll lose Shaq. We'll lose him.
His motivation, his excitement.
What triggers him, right? So I need you to pull back so we can pull Shaq forward for June.
Wow.
And I just looked at him like, this is a smart dude.
Wow, that's really smart.
I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to sit around.
What does losing feel like to you?
It's exciting.
Why is it exciting?
Because it means you have different ways to get better. There's certain things that you can figure out that you can take advantage of, right? Certain weaknesses that were exposed that you need to shore up, right? So it was exciting. I mean, it sucks to lose.
Right.
But at the same time, there are answers there.
And or towards the end, did you ever feel like, gosh, I still haven't like mastered this one part of the game?
The challenge for me was always compassion and empathy.
Because you're like, guys, let's go. Get results. Shut up. Don't complain, right?
I don't want to hear your whining. I don't want
Right.
to hear it. Don't
No
tell
excuses.
Don't tell me how rough the water is. Just bring the boat in. You know, I don't want to hear it. You know, and it's
That's funny.
It's understanding like, okay, these guys have lives
Right.
outside of here.
They have other things happening.
Have other things
Yeah.
happening to them that may be affecting the way that they're practicing or the way that they're performing. Right? And it was hard for me to understand that because nothing bothered me. You know, anything personally that never fazed me when I
You
played.
compartmentalized it.
Very well. So I couldn't understand how my teammates couldn't do that either. Beating the Celtics in Game 7. That's what I'm most proud of because it was the hardest. You know, you're playing with Rajon Rondo, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett,
All-stars.
Ray Allen, and you know, it was myself, Powell, and the players that other teams didn't want. And you know, how do we figure out as a group what to do? And the reason why I loved that series so much is that we went down 3-2 against Boston. And now you got 2 games coming home. I remember sitting in the locker room and they beat the crap out of us too that game. So we're sitting in the locker room and it's really, really quiet. I'm sitting there looking around and we just lost the Celtics in '08. So this is like revenge, right? And they're kicking our butt again, right? So I sit around and I just started laughing. And then I remember Derek Fisher looked at me like, and Lamar looked at me and goes, what is funny? I said, dude, they beat the crap out of us. They just beat the crap out. I said, I'm missing the part where that's funny. I said, man, listen, if we start this season and they say, you know, all you have to do is win 2 games at home and you're NBA champ, would you take that?
Yeah.
And like, right.
Yeah, right.
That's all we got to do.
Yeah.
Go
Down
home,
3-2.
win 2. We're NBA champions. All we got to do is win 2 games in a row. That's it. We'll take care of the first game, and I promise you, they're not winning Game 7 on our home floor. It's not happening. And so we all just laughed about it. And then we went out and we figured it out. But that Game 7 we're down 15 points in the fourth quarter, right? And that's when you have to collectively look at each other and say, you know, the spirit of your team must be good. Because at that moment is when teams fracture. If the energy amongst each other isn't there, that trust isn't there, you're done. And we were able to collectively dig deep together and say, all right, we're going to figure this thing out.
Wow.
And I wasn't playing well. I wasn't shooting the ball well at all. And so my teammates,
Picked you up and they delivered.
yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes. Milkshakes,
Let's
let's
do it.
Let's
Yeah,
do
man.
it. And then the challenge was, okay, can I get back in shape?
Oh.
And it's really hard because there's no end goal. I'm
There's
not
no
training
game.
for
There's no
anything.
season. There's
Right.
no.
So how do you motivate yourself to do
How
it?
do you?
And so for me, it was like, okay, I have to aim for something. So I said, I want to aim for size. I want to aim for bulk, right? So that's a tangible thing. I'm going to go for that, right? But then also, it's my children, because your kids can't see how hard you work. You go to the office, I come in the studio, they don't really see the effort, right? So how can we teach our children what it means to work hard? Well, you do it through training, right? So when I get up in the morning, my daughter goes with me.
4 a.m.
4 a.m., my 15-year-old goes with me. She goes with me before school, and it becomes a daddy-daughter thing.
That's cool.
She just got her permit, right? So she drives in the morning. It becomes a cool thing, right? But through that process, she understands the value of hard work and things taking time. And the same thing with my 12-year-old, right? She practices every day, right? And so it's through those behaviors is where I find the motivation to do it.